okay with that. You okay with that? What's up, guys? What's happening? What's happening? How about a big old win right there? Got to be a little happy with that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, we don't normally do this. I'm going to start it off. I'm going to do things a little bit different tonight because we're in first place. Why don't you guys all hit me up? Where are you guys all calling from? I want to shout out every single person that I see tonight as fast as humanly possible. So please tell me, where are you at? Where are you watching your Dodgers in first place right now? Your first place Dodgers, and that is now 5 out of 6 games again. So here we go. Here we go. Come on, tell me where you're at. Where are you at? Tell me, what I really want to know is the people that are actually leaving Dodger Stadium right now. Who's actually leaving Dodger Stadium right now saying, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to turn on the radio. I'm going to turn on that guy Greg on Dodgers Nation right now. I want them to all just say, like, where are you calling from? I want to say it. Oh, I got a San Diego from Dodger fan in San Diego. That makes sense. Got Fresno. I got Oregon. Look at that. Kingsburg, California. Oxnard. Let's see what's happening. What else we have here? Facebook. I know you got some people on here. I got some Whittier, California. El Paso, Texas. Houston, California. FRG from the 562. That's my boy FRG, who's great on the podcast. Another one coming out tomorrow, right? FRG. They just had Michael J. Duarte on there. There's going to be a new one coming up, I think, tomorrow. Portland, Oregon. Placentia, California. Whittier, California. GJ, Colorado. Erda, Utah. Oh, you guys are from all over the place. I love it. I love it so much. Come on. Chino Hills. Napa. Oh, look at this. Whittier, California. Inland Empire, baby. That's right. Oh, Cleveland. Look at you in Cleveland. I'm sorry, man. That was tough. That was really, really tough yesterday. I'm William L. Wine Jr. I'm sorry for you. I feel bad for you. That you should have had 2 wins. You're 0-1-1 now. I apologize. But hey, the Dodgers are winning. Covina, El Centro, California. Hawthorne, Nevada. Look at it. We got Nevada, Napa. Oh, someone calling me sausage jeans, which they haven't called me for in a little while. That's fine, though. It's poor Greg, young Greg, whatever. Los Angeles, California. Thank God, Ryu from Guangdong, China. Oh, there you go. Baku, Azerbaijan. Now, look at this one. Guatemala, Central America. Yeah, St. Paul, Minnesota. Woodland, California. Chino, Qingdao. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. I'm doing my best there. China, Qingdao. Oh, look at you. You're in China, Steven So? Man, look at you. Good for you. Sitting up here. I think it's tomorrow at that point. Let's see, way to go. Yeah, big game for the Dodgers. Houston Mitchell of LA Times on Blue Heaven tomorrow. New episode on Wednesday morning. I love it. See, there you go, FRG. Houston Mitchell, big fan of Houston Mitchell. He actually shouted this show out when it first started on his LA Times blog that he sends out once a week and maybe coming to be twice a week soon. So Houston Mitchell, that's a great guy. Go listen to the Blue Heaven podcast dropping on Wednesday. Long Beach, Seattle, Washington, Sinaloa. Look at y'all, you guys, all over the place. I like it. East Lansing, Michigan, Incline Village, Lake Tahoe, La Puente. Oh, everywhere. Upland, California. This is all over this is all over the country. This is all over the world. We got China. We got, Minnesota and Michigan and Florida and Texas and Madera, California, San Luis Obispo, California. You guys are from all over the place. And I got a Cleveland guy who again, I'm sorry. Oh, from LA, a Rams fan. All good. Hey, you know what? You're a Rams fan, so it's okay. But yeah, that's not so bad. All right, well, congratulations to everybody. We are back. New York City, Kyle Calderon. Thank you. Switzerland, Geneva, Joe Ponce. Look at you, man. Look at this is how big the Dodgers are. This is how big the Dodger family is. Yakima, Washington, Boyle Heights. You guys are from everywhere, and you all just want to talk about the greatness of the Dodgers and trying to get into the playoffs for the 6th straight year, back in first place. And with that, all right, I'm going to come back to some shout-outs about halfway through again. I'm going to stop. I'm going to get in Koreatown. All right, that's all coming up here on the Coachella, California. I didn't get to Instagram, so I'll get a couple on here. We got a Dodgers, Phoenix, Arizona, Merced, California. You guys are everywhere. This is the best. All right. With that, let's get into the actual topics for today, because with that, we have a lot that we want to get to, and then we'll get into all your questions, and I'll get back out to shout-outs in just a little while. All right, but to start things off, it's Monday. It's Monday. Monday, September 17th. I know that all of you guys have been here. You have been here before, right? You guys have all been here for the last couple months with me, and through the good times, through the bad times, you guys were talking about how, you're upset with Dave Roberts and fire Dave Roberts. We're 4.5 back. This is over. It's terrible. The whole thing is over. The Dodgers are losing everything. They're out of the playoffs. It's going to be just a disaster. And then you came on here and you talked to me, and I've been saying since day one, let's wait until about September 15th. And then I said, September 15th is a Saturday. I'm not actually on that day. So let's do September 17th since that's the Monday. And we'll talk then. If we're not leading the division by then, we'll see where we're at, and then maybe it's time to start panicking. However, we are now on September 17th. Monday, September 17th, and I know all of you guys hate that guy that says, like, oh, look at me, I'm right. I'm the right guy. I'm not always right, but when it comes to the Dodgers, I watch the games just like all you guys and just see it in a way that it makes me feel like I have a good understanding of the actual game and this team. And they're now in first place on Monday in September, in the middle of September. This is exactly what we thought was going to happen right here. On Monday, September 17th, in the lead for the division. So everybody that was panicking, I'm seeing panic levels of 1.5, panic levels of 3, the panic levels have dropped from 35 to 2 because they're back in first place. And you can see why they're back in first place. And that takes me to the hot bats. The bats are swinging beautifully right now. Here's the thing. Since the Cincinnati game last Thursday, they got a big win against Cincinnati after losing the first two, and everyone was still upset. However, they started hitting the way that the bats were hitting in that last game. It's been carried over, and that's exactly what we've been expecting it to happen. It was bound to happen. They were hitting the ball hard. The balls were bound to drop. And now they're not just hitting home runs. They're hitting doubles. They're hitting singles. They're moving guys station to station. There's a lot of good things that are happening here, and that with those hot bats come big wins. They're averaging somewhere around 7-8 runs per game. They put up another 8 spot tonight, and they had bases loaded in the bottom of the 8th. They could have put up more. There's just so many things that are happening that you can see. It's hot from top to bottom. Jock Peterson's hot. Justin Turner's the hottest player in baseball. Manny Machado is not the hottest player, but his on-base percentage is still really high, and he's getting on base a lot, and he's moving guys like Justin Turner over from first to third with regularity, and that's a huge deal for this team. And then right behind it, Max Muncy, they were talking about it on the broadcast today. Max Muncy is a guy that is now starting to see, they called it the force field, which I really like, from Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser, who are the best, by the way. I love watching them. But they were talking about how it's a force field around the plate for Max Muncy. He's walking again. He's being more patient at the plate. All things that plagued him when he was going through that stretch where he wasn't playing very well, it's all starting to come together now. And so the bats are really hot. And when that happens and everybody wasn't hitting, and now everybody's hitting, and now they're going to they're going to run away with the division, like I've been talking about for the entire time. All right. Hyun-Jin Ryu, or Hyun-Jin Ryu, however you want to say his name, Ryu was fantastic again. This season, he has not given up more than 3 runs in any outing, period. Even when he went out for that long period of time, he still, in May, he has not given up more than 3 runs in one outing, and he gave up 0 tonight. He went 7 innings, 0 runs, and 5 Ks with no walks. That's exactly what you need. And what's happening here is you're seeing a guy like Ryu trying to force himself into the conversation to be on the postseason pitching staff. Is my mic off? I'm saying my mic is off. I'm not seeing. Is my mic that whole time? No? Okay, make sure. Oh, thank you. Okay, I hope my mic's not off, James. I had to stop in the middle, but I hope my mic's not off. I think everybody's hearing me. Anyway. So Ryu is trying to force himself into the starting rotation, and when he does, because you've seen a guy, it's really coming down to him and Rich Hill, and who's going to be in that third spot. Ryu is really trying to force himself into that third spot right now, and it's true. I mean, look what he did tonight: 7 innings, no run ball of against a team like the Colorado Rockies, who was in first place. That's a huge outing out of him, and he was fantastic, and it was great to see that out of him. All right, and then the last thing I really want to get to, and is I actually wrote notes that I just dropped, so I apologize to everybody. I dropped my notes. I never write notes. All right, this is very strange for me to write notes. I don't ever do it. I was listening to the broadcast, and Joe Davis and Oral Hershiser brought up something really interesting about a possible three-way tie between the Rockies, the Dodgers, and the Cardinals. And hopefully it doesn't happen, and they just run away with the division, and I think that's what's going to happen. However, I wrote it all down because I just thought it was really interesting, and I wanted to know I wanted you guys to know about it if you missed it on the broadcast. But here, look, I actually wrote notes. I never do this, but I wrote notes. And they look like garbage, and I have terrible handwriting. But look at that. I wrote notes. I never do that, but I did it anyway. So, it's a new day for me. And before I get into this, I'm going to drink my cup. Now, here's the thing with this cup. It's very strange. Every time, Facebook loves when I take a drink. For some reason, every time Facebook takes a picture of this broadcast, they wait till I take a drink. So we're going to do, Facebook. Oh, you almost got, no, not yet. Not yet. All right. Guaranteed, by the way, guaranteed, that's the picture that's on Facebook tomorrow with me holding that glass like that. Just weird. All right, anyways, the three-way tie. And this is courtesy of Rick Krajewski, who is Joe Davis's guy, sits next to him at all broadcasts. It's at Rick_K21. Dude is the best. He answers everything whenever I have a question. He'll answer you guys. He loves stats, has great stats. He is a good dude, and he put it together this way. If there is a three-way tie, the Dodgers now, after winning tonight, have 10 wins over Colorado. So if there's a three-way tie, Colorado would have to go to the Dodgers and play in LA in order to see who plays the right to play St. Louis in the wild card game, or basically who wins the division, and the loser has to go play St. Louis in the wild card. St. Louis beat both the Dodgers and Colorado. So St. Louis has 4 of 7 wins against the Dodgers, so they win that series, and St. Louis wins 5 of 7 versus Colorado, so they win that series. But Colorado could technically, and this could be very big for Colorado Rockies, is that Colorado could play in LA, lose the division, go fly to St. Louis, play St. Louis in St. Louis in the wild card game, beat St. Louis, and then have to go fly again to go play against Milwaukee or Chicago, and most likely it'll be Chicago. But that's how crazy this could possibly get if there's a three-way tie at the end of the year. Very weird, but very cool. So I wrote it all down, and that's why I wrote everything down. All right, that's enough of that. I know what you guys come here for is because you want to talk and you want to get answers and you want to see what everybody thinks. All right, so let's start over on Facebook. Let's see what you got. Ryu has been on only one bad dinger covered. Oh, wait, that got messed up here. Ryu's only been on one bad game this season. And really, if you think about it, in the last game against Cincinnati, which is the tiniest ballpark of all time, Ryu in Cincinnati, he gave up 2 home runs in the smallest ballpark ever. Besides that, he was giving up 1 run, 0 runs, 2 runs. He gave up a 3-run another night somewhere else. But Rio's been pitching really well. Brandon Piley, my boy, I know I'm late, but was Gray's priceless reaction to Mad Max's dinger covered? I haven't covered that. That's a great thought. By the way, all right. So I think it was the second inning. It was the second inning. Max Muncy comes up to the plate. He's got 2 on, and they've already put a couple runs across. Max Muncy hits a blast over to right field, and you could just see it in John Gray's face immediately. It was fantastic. He just threw his hands up in the air like, oh. I can't believe I just did that. 6-0. You're out the game after one more hit. Immediately the next guy gets a hit, who I believe was Bellinger. Or Grandal immediately got a hit, or Puig actually. Sorry, mixing everybody up. Puig got a hit right after that. Bing, bang, boom, done. See you, John Gray. And that's the craziest thing. John Gray, in the first inning, he gave up two runs, right? Could have given up 3, but Yasiel Puig got a little bit crazy going to third base. Love the hustle. Love his hustle. You take the good with the bad when it comes to Yasiel Puig, but got to know the time and situation there, especially in a playoff game. If it was a playoff game, that's a bigger thing. Let's see. Ricky Kusiyanagi. What happened to Story? Anyway, he got hurt. So basically, he made a great diving play. I believe it was on Justin Turner to nab Turner at first, but diving across his body and grabbing a ball that was hit
hit to shortstop, and he threw back to first and got Turner, I believe. And then he came up to bat a little bit after that, and after that he just didn't feel right when he was trying to swing, so they had to take him out of the game. That's a huge, huge loss. And by the way, I have that on my notes. No Story. I actually wrote a couple other ones because I thought, why not? I have notes, so I might as well do it. I said no Story. But no Story, that's a big, big loss. Having to put Valleca there instead of Story. Story is on an MVP type pace, and if he's out of this series, that's a big, big loss for Colorado, and that's a big spot for him to be in. He is their cleanup batter, and he's been having a huge year. So losing him, that's a big loss for them. Because let's be honest. There's nothing to talk about with the Diamondbacks anymore, right? They're 5 games back. There's 11 to play. See ya. You're done. You've lost your time. And they still have games against Chicago right now. They just lost to Chicago tonight, and they still got at least 2 more. See ya. You're done. All right, let's move over to Instagram. I haven't talked to Instagram too much. Dodgers3510, what's up, buddy? How many innings do you think Kershaw will pitch tomorrow? I think I would love to see him go 8, because that's just a little bit greedy out of me. But I think tomorrow's pitching matchup is going to be really, really good. I'm looking at Instagram because you're on here, but tomorrow's pitching matchup of Kershaw versus Freeland is really, really a very good matchup. However, Kyle Freeland is not as good away from Coors Field, which is really weird, right? Kyle Freeland, a guy pitching better at Coors Field than on the road. He's not as good on the road. He's much, much better at home. And so this is good for him to be at Dodger Stadium. Clayton Kershaw has been pitching fantastic, and I'm very, very happy with, after this great Ryu outing, to go Kershaw, Buehler, back-to-back nights. This was the big one, right? This was the big game, because then you feel like you should win the games with Kershaw and Buehler. And Buehler, by the way, is seeing Tyler Anderson, who the Dodgers just absolutely beat up on. Tyler Anderson is not a good pitcher, and he's getting killed by the Dodgers usually. So hopefully it happens again on Wednesday. All right, so I believe I'm going to say he goes 7 innings of 2-run ball. That's my guess for Kershaw tomorrow. Hopefully even better, because he's been pitching really well. And no Story. And also this Rockies offense, not been good. Besides those 2 runs that Alex Wood gave up, and Axford gave up a little bit of that too. The Rockies, in 3 of their last 4 games, have been shut out. Besides those Alex Woods, they got 3 runs yesterday against San Francisco, but they got shut out on Friday and Saturday against San Francisco, and now they basically got shut out again tonight. They are struggling at the exact wrong time. And this, before I get to more questions, this is what you expect from a team that hasn't been there before. The Dodgers have been there for the last 5 years. And most of these guys have been around for a lot of that, or some of that, or have been to the World Series. So they know how to win when the time is right, whereas these Rockies do not have that killer instinct. They're losing at the wrong time. And right now, the Dodgers are doing what they're supposed to do. All right, let's see. On YouTube, always better when they win. Of course, Dodgers doing 11:30. Thoughts on Axford? You really didn't see much of Axford. I know they brought in Axford, they brought in Garcia, and they brought in Cingrani. And they did a lot. You can't really, they just got called up today. Ryan Madson gone off the 60-day DL. Ryan Madson is done, which everybody... that feels great to see Ryan Madson no longer. Or was it Ryan Madson? I believe it was Ryan Madson that was done. It was either Ryan Madson or it was Daniel Hudson. I believe one or the other, or both. Who cares? They can both go. I would say, so Axford, you didn't really see too much from him. He gave up a little blooper that ended up scoring a run, but it wasn't that big. You saw Yimi Garcia hit 96, which was really nice to see him hitting 96. But I'm not sure if I would put him on the roster. And Cingrani came in, and really he had that great stab from the cargo to end the game. That was a great stab by him. Otherwise, that was right up the middle. We don't know what's going to happen after that. But anyway, so let's get into a little bit of the bullpen. Well, actually, no, I don't want to do that yet. Forget it. I'm going to stop myself. I'm stopping myself because I don't want to get into that just yet. Let's go back over to Periscope. Periscope panic level is still... What are you saying here? It's still above 5. Why? Because Dodgers. Dougie. That's not the right way. They've been to the World Series last year. They've been to the playoffs the last 5 years. They've won the division the last 5 years. Of course you don't. But panic level 3. It's not going anywhere. It's not a 5. It's a 3 always. Got on Twitter, never looked back. Hudson, you're right. Sorry, it was Hudson. I would like for Madsen to go too. I didn't even write him on my list. Let's see. If the playoffs started today, who makes the postseason pen? Well, that's what I was going to talk about, but then I decided not to do it. I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself. But since you asked, and notes, I wrote down all the guys. But here's the thing. So you have to think that for the most part, you're going to see Kenley Jansen is a for sure. So you're going to get 12 or 13 guys depending on the roster, and the batting the batting lineup is going to make it so it's going to be a lot more difficult really to choose 13 guys. You may only be able to go with 12. I don't know what they're going to do. I have to really go through the lineup and see who's really hitting at the right time, just like the pitching staff. And so there's a couple of guys on the staff that's automatically in my mind. I think Kenley, automatically in. Obviously, everybody agrees with me. Kenley's automatically in. Maeda, 100% on the roster, in the bullpen. Done. That's your 8-9 for the most part. I think Zach Roskup has really proven himself, and he should be on that roster also. He has been fantastic. And a lefty, I think he should be absolutely on there. I know Cingrani is on this roster. He's been there before, and he pitched great in the World Series last year and in the playoffs in general. He needs to come back, and he needs to pitch well. I need to see him a little bit more, and he has plenty of time. He has basically 2 weeks to get himself right. So let's see what he does there. But I think Caleb Ferguson has pitched himself onto this roster too, so I think he's there. I think Scott Alexander, absolutely going to be there, a ground ball guy. I know a lot of you don't trust him, but outside of the 9th inning, he's really, really good. I think Dylan Floro and Pat Venditti, they have chances to get on that roster. Because then you still have to, and that's Kenley, Maeda, Roskup, Ferguson, Alexander. That's 5 right there. And then you have Kershaw, Buehler, Hill, Ryu, and Stripling. That's another 5 right there. So you only have enough spots for 2 more guys. Wood, Floro, Venditti, Cingrani, Baez, Fields, Urias, Axford, and possibly Garcia. I think the guys that are pitching the best when it matters, those are the guys that are going to get in there. And I think you could see a Floro or a Venditti make it in over Alex Wood. He didn't look very good tonight. Well, they're trying to get him into that, into a bullpen role again, and that's not always easy to switch back and forth for. I know people want me to say it right here. Eddie Ruizga. Eddie. He wants me to say Baez. I can't say Baez. I know he's been pitching great. If he continues to pitch great, then yes, you have to. I just don't trust him with a lead. I just don't trust him in the bullpen. I just don't trust him in the postseason. Let him pitch all night. Oh, and people are saying Urias. Look, Urias, I don't think Urias is going to make this roster either. It's too bad. He pitched one time. He pitched in the 9th inning in a blowout game. You need guys that can pitch in high leverage situations like the playoffs. I know Ferguson's young and Roskup's young and Floro's young and Vinny, like all these guys, maybe not young or they're just unproven, but they've been pitching really, really well. And don't say Madsen. I know he's been there before, and most likely Madsen is a guy that's going to make it. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't really like Madsen. I don't think he's really proven himself, and there's too many other guys on this roster that really have proven themselves. So we're going to move away from that. All right, let's check back over with Instagram. Or sorry, not Instagram. We're going to go over here to Facebook. Ryan Passwater, I think you mixed up the 3-way tie scenario. If that happens, the Dodgers and Rockies would play for the division. The loser would play St. Louis. I think I changed that. Yes, they would play for the division. And the winner of that game would play the other World Series. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the winner of the St. Louis game or the Cubs or the Braves, it could be. I mean, this is directly from Rick Krajewski, who is the best stat guy I know. So I'm going with what he says to me. I know what you're saying there, Ryan, but this is those are the exact words from him. And yes, the Dodgers and Rockies would play in LA because the Dodgers won 10 games. Dude, you'll see Urias on that postseason roster. You know what? That's what most people want because they love the name Urias, right? This is something that most people talk about. He hasn't pitched enough. If he pitches in bigger innings and pitches well down the stretch, then yes, you can. These last 2 weeks are really going to choose who is going to make this postseason roster. And there's going to be a few guys that are automatics. Kenley, Maeda, Alexander, Roskup, Ferguson, I think are automatics at this point. They've been pitching too well to not make it on that roster. Kershaw, Buehler, Hill, Ryu, Stripling, automatic. That's 10. 2 or 3 more, and that's all you got. So maybe we do see him. Maybe we don't. Ooh, Village Idiot. This guy's the best. The Dodger offense is back and is here to stay. It will carry for the NL West and deep into the playoffs. I agree with you. That was not one of your better ones, Village Idiot. You usually come with something stronger. That was a little bit weaker on your take. I am agreeing with you. You're absolutely right. But that wasn't one of your stronger ones. You usually come with something stronger. But I'll give it to you anyway because that was still good. Let's see. Greg, do you trust the bullpen to close out the season winning first place? 100%. 100% I agree with the bullpen. I think the bullpen is much, much better than what you guys are looking at. A lot of the runs are coming in losses, and usually in the ones when they're already down by a big amount of runs, they continue to give up runs because you bring in a guy like Ryan Madson who's going to give up runs, or you're bringing in somebody that you haven't seen too much of, like an Urias or a Wood, or maybe it's a Stripling, or it's somebody that Fields, somebody that you're just trying to get them ready to go, and you're either down by a lot or up by a lot, and that's where the runs come from. When it matters, the bullpen has been solid outside of the ninth inning. The ninth inning is a whole nother world, and it doesn't. I count it because the numbers do count. However, when it's a game where they're already winning or leading, I trust the bullpen in that situation. Edwin De Leon Gallardo, do you think Machado is staying in LA? No, sorry, I don't think he is. I think he's going to demand too much money. I think it's just going to be too much, and he wants to be a shortstop, or he wants to be a third base. He doesn't want to play third. They don't want to move. Then Corey Seager wants to play shortstop. It's going to be a lot of money. I would love to see him stay. I just don't think this is the place for him. I would love for him. Look, I think he would be great here, and I think he would just be killing for years and years, but I don't think he's going to want to stay. I think he's going to get a better deal in Philadelphia or in New York. I doubt Urias makes the roster. He needed 4 days rest on every outing in the minors in his return. Yes, and you would hope that in the minors he could pitch on back-to-back nights, but they're also trying to save his arm. He's also not pitching on. He's not pitching really much higher than 92. So he doesn't even have the velocity that he used to have. You just contradicted myself. You know what? Tell me why. Cardiff Giant. I don't believe I did, but if I did, I'm happy to correct myself. We will be going to the World Series, and we're going to win it. Vera Munguia. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I agree with you. And this is why I get made fun of, because I pronounce names wrong. I'm trying my best, I promise you. Do you think they are going to send Barnes to AAA next season since he's been struggling? Okay, we've talked about this before. We're thinking about an old Barnes. First of all, he is kind of like A.J. Ellis at this point. He is Kershaw's everyday. He's personal catcher at this point. I mean, that's what it seems like. You see Grandal with him every once in a while, but for the most part, Barnes is in the game when Kershaw is in, and also when they're facing a lefty, you see Barnes a lot more. You're getting angry. I did contradict myself. Tell me what I contradicted myself about. You know what? I'm sorry. I got away from my last question, but I didn't mean to do that. I have to stop looking at things. But Barnes, over the last 30 days, has actually been pitting pretty well. He's hitting around in the mid-twos, has an on-base percentage around 310, 330, somewhere in that range. He's over his with Kershaw, the last time he was 2 for 4. He's getting hits when it matters. He's having much better at-bats. He may not always get the hit, but in that 8th spot, he's still taking a lot of pitches, 7, 8 pitches every single time through. And in those times, it's making the pitcher work more, and you saw it happen tonight. It happened with John Gray in the first inning, 25 pitches against John Gray, and it hurts them. That means that they're going over 20 pitches in their first couple innings. They don't last as long into the game, and then you get into their bullpen, and that's a huge, huge deal for this team. They're supposed to be a very patient team. They haven't been there, but now they're becoming that team again, and that's why it's all getting better. So I think Barnes is a guy, and he's a great defensive catcher too. He gets hits sometimes. I know I'd like to see more, just like everybody else, but he does get hits at times. Let's see. Otherwise, I take Kike at second. I missed the beginning of it. Dozier's Deadpool hitter. Yeah, pretty much. Dozier, Granderson. Yeah, they're the same guy. I know. I hate saying it, but it's true. How many innings do you think Kershaw will pitch? I told you already. I think he's going to pitch around 7 to 8. 6 or 7. Dozier is slumping partially due to his knee injury that has been bothering him all season, but he's trying to play through it. And that's why he's not getting as much playing time, if that's the truth. Because if he is, then he's just not hitting well enough. Let's go over to YouTube. I know there's a bunch of you over here watching and talking, so I want to make sure I hit everybody over here. Ryan C., tell me why I want Baez in. I don't want Baez in. I only want him in during a game right now when it's a low leverage situation. So if you want Baez, I don't want him. He's been pitching well. Baez hater here, but I've been reformed. You've been reformed in the regular season in low leverage situations. So same here. He's pitched well, though. He has pitched well. Does Han-Chi Kuo have a chance of making the roster? You know what? Maybe one day. Remember that? That was a great Han-Chi Kuo. Han-Chi Kuo. Oh, that was the best. That was the best ever. I'm a big fan of that one. Let's see. Peterson's hot bat starting now makes it tough to take him out of the lineups. It's time to pick a starting lineup and roll with it, just like mentioned on the show. You can say that all you want, Andrew. I would love for that to be the truth. It's just not true. We're not going to see it. At some point, we have to understand that against lefties, you're going to see a mostly righty lineup. Against righties, you're going to see a mostly lefty lineup. I'm not a big fan of either. I like the hot bats. I like keeping the same guys in. I like Bellinger in as much as possible. I like Muncy in as much as possible. But I also want to see Taylor more. He's been hitting really well. I want to Turner Machado every single day, nonstop, always. There's a lot of guys. I mean, Jock Peterson is hitting really well. By the way, Jock and Belly both got hits against lefties tonight, so they can hit lefties. Jock hit a home run off a lefty tonight. That's a huge deal for him. So we're just never gonna see it. I would love to see it. I just don't think it happens anytime soon. I think Manny Machado would stay in LA because he's a game changer. That's not a good enough reason, unfortunately. And I think the Dodgers would sign him. LA is a big market, and I'm sure the Dodgers would work something out in playing shortstop and move Corey to second base. Now let me throw this back at you, Jose Gonzalez. What if Corey says, I only want to play shortstop? This is a guy who just had Tommy John surgery, obviously, and he has a hip issue, but he's going to be a MVP at some point. That's what people have put him at on a projection to eventually be an MVP. If he wants to be the shortstop and Machado wants to be the shortstop, who do you go with more? The guy that you brought up from the minor leagues along with Cody Bellinger and Walker Buehler and everybody else that's on this, Clayton Kershaw, everybody else has come from below and been right here. It's a tough decision. Let's see. Clint Pasillas, FRG, again, getting back to you. Just don't say anything bad, all right? Because normally I'll just read whatever's in front of me and I get in trouble for it. Ninth career home run off left-handed pitcher for Peterson tonight. Not super great. No, it's not, but he did hit one tonight, Clint. And so that's another thing, that he can get a hit off of a lefty. It's just the fact that as it was a lefty up, he hit the home run. It's always possible. And by the way, you know just as well as I do, Muncy hits lefties pretty well too. He actually has a really high OPS against them. Let's see. Sherwin Howell, no player, neither Machado nor Seager may and can demand to play a certain position, period. While you say that, that's great. You're right, because on this team, especially this team, you do not get to choose where you're going to play for the most part. If you come to the Dodgers, you know that they have so much depth, and they're going to play you where they think you are the best. They want you to be multi-positional or have positionality or whatever you want to call it, where you can play shortstop and second base and third or first or center field and second base and right field and catcher and shortstop and center field and first base and pitcher, and they want you to do everything. That's just kind of how it is. So when you're on this team, yes, that's basically what's going to happen. So, but Machado has to be okay with that. And if he wants to make $300 to $400 million and they're going to get offered, say, you're going to be our everyday shortstop in Philadelphia for $400 million or $300 million, I think he takes it. He can go wherever he wants. So most likely we're gonna have a bunch of those guys here. All right. Let's see. Shout out VJ Polito. Shout out from OKC. All right, since we're doing shout outs now, and I'm going to do a shout out for you guys. All right, VJ Polito. Shout out from OKC. I'm sorry you have to deal with that bum from where's that? What's that little area called that's over up the 14? It's not Pasadena. It's the other one, Palmdale. The little bum from Palmdale that wanted to stay in OKC. Paul George, Get him out of here. I'm sorry you have to deal with that guy, but I do love Russell Westbrook. He's a UCLA boy, so I love that guy. All right, so let me get a little bit more shout-out. You want to get a quick shout-out going on? I'm happy to read out your shout-outs now because I did get a shout-out there. It's halfway through. Let's do a quick shout-out. Give me some hearts. Give me some shout-outs. Get everybody knowing that this is the place to be after a win or even a loss because I talk you down from the ledges after losses. So give me the shout-out for today. Let's see. No one will sign Machado for over $180 million. That's unfortunately nonsense. He's going to get a lot of money. Let's see. And Seager, since I'm not getting too many of them, I'm going to move. How about a shout out for those Fresno State Bulldogs, Gregory? See, this is the issue when I just shoot things out of when I just read whatever's in front of me. I know who you are too. You talk to me on Twitter, and my team is garbage, okay? They are absolute, utter garbage. Chip Kelly needs a little bit more time, all right? So get your Fresno State Bulldogs out of here. They did beat up on us late in the game, though. All right. Let's see. You still look like Yasiel Puig. All right. Fine. Guy hit 5 home runs over the weekend and 2 in 24 hours. I'm fine with looking like Yasiel Puig, but we've put this out there already, and it already said that I look like Chris Taylor. I got Springfield, Illinois. Shout out for El Paso. Springfield, Illinois, boy, birthplace of President Lincoln. That's right. Let's see. Shout out Mason Ireland fans. What's up, Mason Ireland fans? I'll be back on Mason Ireland tomorrow. Go listen here. I'll be talking lots and lots of Dodgers like I do every other day on Mason Ireland. Fresno State. Yeah, F Fresno State. I'm totally with you on that. Covina. All right. Ricky Slade. All right, let's see. Shout out Swift Car Club. Oh, man. See what you made me do there? I just threw it out there. Now you need to pay me money. So give me $5 and we'll call it even for that Swift Car Club. All right. So there you go. You got a quick one there. All right. Back to the questions. You guys are crazy. Even you from June Lake, California, which I love, by the way. Love June Lake. June Lake, right out, if this is the same one, the June Lake that's right next to Mammoth, that is 5 hours from here. That's an easy 5-hour drive. You go drive up, go to June Mountain, empty all the time. Great snow during the winter, and it's so much fun. Big fan of June Mountain, June Lake, all that stuff. So if you're from Jeremy Ross from June Lake, definitely get a shout out. All right, I hope we keep Yasiel Puig, has character and makes things fun. All right, I wanted to get into Yasiel Puig because there has to be some negativity sometime, right? It's not so much negativity as it is just honesty about Yasiel Puig. Yasiel Puig is a guy that you have to live with the good and the bad, where he is a guy that is going to kick a ball in right field, then pick up and drill you out at third base. Then it's going to be a guy that's going to hit 5 home runs in 24 hours. Then he's going to be a guy that's going to try and take third when the pitcher has 25 pitches after just walking a guy, a run just scored, and he makes the third out, add third base instead of getting more pitches on the starting pitcher in the first inning. So there's so many things that he's going to do left and right. And then he's going to bobble a ball in the right field. And then he's going to make some ridiculous diving catch over the wall that's going to be fantastic. And you're like, oh my God, Yasiel Puig is the best thing ever. So it's good and bad. If you really look at his stats, we were doing a whole thing today. His defensive WAR this year is a 0.1. 0.1, which last year was a 1.3 when he should have won the Gold Glove and he didn't. And now you have, this year he's at a 0.1, and that's a problem. I think next year it doesn't matter. He's arbitration eligible. They're going to sign him $10 to $12 million, somewhere around there, right? And when they do, you give him another year and you let him say, hey, I'm going to prove to you that I can make a big deal here. And if he can, then you try and sign him. If not, maybe he tries to go somewhere else. But I think he tries to stay in LA. I think he likes LA. I think he likes this team. I think he loves Turner Ward, which, I mean, come on, he loves Turner Ward. They're kissing each other on the sides of the cheeks, on the lips, with the hand in the face. They do all of it. So I think that he'd love to stay in LA. So let him see what he does next year. He's been up and down. This is pretty good Puig this year, actually. His numbers look a lot better. He has over a 500 slugging percentage this year. So that's a big deal for him to be that high. All right, let's check it back over here on Periscope. I got somebody from Hawaii. I got people from Portland, Hawaii. I lived 2 years in Hawaii, on Oahu and the Big Island, on Kapolei, and it was beautiful. That was some of the best times of my life, just being in Hawaii. I loved it so much. Jesuit X. I am not going to the game tomorrow anymore. On Mason Island tomorrow, you'll find out. Mason will say that he cannot go to the game tomorrow. He was not able to go anymore, so I will not be at the game. I will not be at shortstop. These are unfortunately not going to happen, so I'm not gonna. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be there. But there will be other games. I will be going to more. We'll make sure that we get some shortstop going in. We can all hang out and have some beers together. Why is this off-season offense inconsistent in your opinion? Some games the offense explodes, and others it's nowhere to be found. It's a great question, CB Raphael 17 on Instagram. It's a good question. Now, for the most part, you're seeing the same things in those games. A lot of times, they're getting guys on base. The offense is actually moving guys over a lot for most of the year. However, they can't get the guys. They weren't able to bring anybody in. They're hitting the ball hard. They were hitting the ball hard throughout most of the year, and balls weren't falling. This is baseball. Things happen. It gets crazy, and they sometimes, now it's starting to get to a point where those balls are starting to fall. Ever since Game 3 against Cincinnati last week, for some reason, they're not swinging for the fences every single time like they had been. Now they're just trying to go station to station and move guys over. And when you start shortening up your swing and trying to just get when you just start shortening up your swing and you start to just get singles and doubles and go station to station and you play a little bit more, everybody's favorite word, let's all say it together, small ball, when you see a little bit more of that, then the pitcher has to change up their pitching style at the same time, and they leave things over the plate a little bit more, and you can swing it a little, use that little bit more of that uppercut swing and hit home runs. Look what Max Muncy did tonight. He did that exact same thing. He's been waiting for his pitches, and he got a 3-run jack out of it. What's his name? Jock Peterson hit 2 home runs tonight, and he did it. Some were high, but he's starting to find. He has 6. I think it's 6, right? I think someone's listening on Dodgers Nation. I'm sure they know. I think it's 6 leadoff home runs, which is tied for second, or is second all alone in career leadoff home runs for a season by a Dodger. So that's a huge, huge deal. Patrick Cullen, Greg, is Kike going to pitch again this year? No, I wouldn't think so. Catch. Oh, is he going to catch? I just don't. I was thinking about that watching the game today. You were thinking to yourself, okay, they have an 8-0 lead. Maybe this is a good time for Kike to catch. But you're playing against a team that's technically in first place at the time. I just don't think. Yeah, great. It's called baseball. Exactly. I just don't think that you're going to see Kike catch at any point. It's kind of disrespectful to the other team. And if you do that, what if he gets hurt behind there? You need him. There's a lot of negatives that go with it. I just don't think we're gonna see him catching, unless it's like they're way up in the division. It's the last game of the season. They're up 13-0, and there's it's the bottom of the 9th. You know, maybe there's or top of the they're on the road, bottom of the 9th. I don't know, maybe at that point, but I doubt it. I just doubt seeing Kike catch in this game. It's just kind of disrespectful. Lucio Perrin, I think our offense is better without Kemp. You know what? You can think that, but he's been hitting pretty. He's getting hits here and there. He's getting 1-2 hits a game. If you actually go look at his stats over the last 30 days or so, he's hitting pretty decently. You're not going to see him. He's a righty, so you're not going to see him against a righty pitcher. You'll see him against a lefty pitcher. He started 5 games in a row, was getting hits, and then he sat 3 games in a row because it was a righty pitcher. So this is what they're doing. You'll probably see him the next time a lefty pitcher comes up, which I believe is tomorrow. Freeland is a lefty, I believe. Sarah Armandariz, playoff bound, please, but what do you feel we need to do or change to go deep into the playoffs and hopefully back to the World Series? We need to win. LA is thirsty for that championship. I agree, they are thirsty. What do I think they need to do? I think they're doing everything right now. Ever since, we've talked about it a few times, but ever since that game in Cincinnati, the third game in Cincinnati, where they started to just shorten up a little bit and get moving guys from station to station, playing a little bit more. 8 leadoff home runs. Oh, thank you, Joe Bennett. I bounced off. Gotta think about that. Ever since they've been starting to shorten up their swings a little bit, you're starting to see that they're moving guys over, and they're putting up more runs. Those hard hit balls are all starting to fall. They're all starting to go into gaps that aren't where people aren't. They're starting to hit well. They're hitting well with runners in scoring position. They're getting runs in those situations. They're hitting home runs. There's a lot of really good things that we're seeing from this team. The bullpen looks good especially when they have a lead. And Kenley Jansen, we haven't really seen him in a save situation recently, but when he is in that save situation against Colorado in Colorado, when he's in that save situation in, where was he, in Cincinnati and St. Louis, he pitches well. It wasn't even in St. Louis. But anyways, Kenley Jansen in a save situation is way better than Kenley Jansen in a non-save situation. So I think you have every part of your offense and even your defense all starting to play really well together right now. The defense looks fantastic. Did you see some of those plays that Manny Machado is making it short? Justin Turner is throwing dimes from third base to first base. Their defense has looked really good. I know Jock misplayed a ball. It looks like he never really had it in the outfield, but for the most part, their defense looks really, really good, and guys aren't going to get these little nothing hits off them very often because their defense looks good. I think everything is clicking right now, and they're going to push this all the way through into the World Series and win it. Let's see. I saw someone talking about 4 catchers, and that's not true. Randy Shipley, we have 4 catchers. We do not have 4 catchers. Kyle Farmer is not a catcher. Kyle Farmer he's a third base utility guy now. They do not like him as a catcher. They don't think he has the defensive presence to be that guy. I talked to a few guys. There's a great Twitter account on Twitter at Future Dodgers. They were letting me know they follow everything all up and down the minor leagues. They said that they just don't think that Farmer is doing the best job in Oklahoma and as a catcher, so he's not that guy anymore. Rocky Gale is your third catcher, and that's your only third catcher. Those are the only 3, and we haven't even seen Rocky Gale, so that's how much it really says. Dodgers offense has been great because hitters are being patient. They go deep in the counts. They are hitting with 2 strikes. Exactly, Sherwin. That's what I'm saying. And also with those 2 strikes, they're shortening up their swing. Cody Bellinger is a master at this right now. Cody Bellinger is hitting with 2 strikes because he's shortening up and he's just getting on base, and that's all he needs to do. It's been great to see. So I'm with you, Sherwin. Actually, I think they're going deeper. You're seeing more recently that the starting pitchers are at 40, 50 pitches through 2 innings. I mean, they're getting guys 20 pitches per inning because they're going deep into counts. And there was one great at-bat in St. Louis where David Freese had a 14-pitch at-bat, and that put it up to 28 pitches in the first inning. It was fantastic, and he got a double out of it too. So guys are just really starting to be much, much more patient, which we saw last year. And this is that same thing that made them so great last year. It is what they're saying now. David Ojeda, wait, did you say Mason is not going either? No, Mason's not going either. Unless he changes his mind randomly again tomorrow and says, I'm going to the game. However, I will not go for a 3rd time. He's already told me twice he's not going and then told me again that he is going. So if he says he's going tomorrow, I'm not going. Let's see. I was saying that I'm going tomorrow. Oh, you're going tomorrow. Oh, I wish you were going. I wish I was there. MB Jeeries, unfortunately, have a great time at the game. It's a Kershaw day. Always great to be there on a Kershaw day. Let's see. Game 1 starter and playoff, if it was up to Greg, 100% Clayton Kershaw. Clayton Kershaw is your Game 1 starter in the playoffs automatically. I love Walker Buehler, but I want him in the 2. I want him in the 2 spot. I think Clayton Kershaw is the right guy. Sup with the accounts sending the same comments. Bots? Yeah, I don't know what that's about either, Nash. I saw that too, that it's the same comment multiple times. Maybe because this has gotten so popular that I'm getting a bot now, and that would be just the greatest thing ever, right? Say, bots for Greg. Hashtag bots for Greg. That's how big this has gotten, right? Yeah, I don't believe that in the slightest, but it's great anyway. Let's see. Ricky Kusiyanagi, what happened to Keibert Ruiz? Keibert Ruiz stayed in Double-A Tulsa and won the Double-A championship with Tulsa by having a huge series. So Ruiz, you're going to see a lot more of him next year. Keibert Ruiz will be a guy that's going to fight for a spot next year, but I think he's still another year away. I think a lot of people would probably agree with me on that. Let's see. I got Dodgers ain't the Rams. We need offense. The offense has looked good. In the postseason, what's Kemp's role? Barnes, Muncy, Utley, Belly, Dozier. I mean, everybody's role is going to depend. It's who's hitting the best in the end of September. And I think once we get to the playoffs, maybe we'll start seeing a little bit of a different lineups going back and forth, but I doubt it. I really think that for the most part, you're going to see the same lefty-righty splits in the playoffs too. Ryan Montes, if you go to the game tomorrow, Greg, will you go live post-game and do your report from there? I am not going live tomorrow, but starting Wednesday, I will be going live every single day that I can. And for the most part, I think that's going to be every single time. Every game. I know there's gonna be some days where I'm just not gonna be able to. Like Saturday is my girlfriend's daughter's birthday. I doubt I'm gonna be able to come on that day, and I think family comes first, and her birthday is more important than doing a post game show with you guys. Unfortunately, however, most games I will be on almost every single game with you guys, and starting Wednesday, hopefully, let's cross our fingers. Hopefully, huge announcement for Wednesday. I don't know if it's going to happen yet. I'm very, very close. I think it's going to happen. But Wednesday, huge announcement for this post-game show. It's about to get bigger, hopefully. We'll see. I'll give you all the details as soon as I possibly can. But right now, just think Wednesday, gonna be a big day at the moment. I'll update you and let you know either on Twitter or on Facebook, on Dodgers Nation, all of it. But it will be getting bigger, hopefully very, very soon with a lot more things to come. All right, I only have a little bit more time yet. Let's see what we got here. Made the Jumbotron in the bottom of the 8th. Hey, good for you, O'Hara. Dustin O'Hara, good for you getting on the Jumbotron. Hey, look at you. And that means you left and came on and talked to me. Tell your friends. Make sure people come on here and don't go on the radio. It's boring on the radio. Rafael Santiago. Greg, what is your favorite Dodger moment? Can't use 1988 Kirk Gibson World Series home run. Wow. Oh, why are you taking that away from me? I was 5 years old sitting on my couch with my brother. My parents were out at a party or something like that, and me and my brother were sitting on the couch watching the game, and that was such a great game. My favorite Dodgers moment, probably the game where they hit 4 consecutive home runs in the bottom of the 9th, and then they hit 2 more in the bottom of the 10th to win. I believe it was Nomar that hit the game-winning home run in the bottom of the 10th too. Yeah, those were somebody, or it was Jeff Kent, or no, who was it? No, it wasn't Jeff Kent. No, let's go with that one. The 4 home run, the 6 home run game, that or 5 home run game. That game was crazy. So much fun to watch. Let's see. Steve Finley. There it is. Thank you, Steve Finley. The Steve Finley Grand Slam, 2004 Steve Finley Grand Slam. Thank you, Ricky Kusianagi. That was the one I was thinking about because I was sitting at a UCLA game, watching a game. I was sitting in my seats, my season seats at UCLA, and I was frantically checking my phone, trying to just refresh over and over again. This was 2004, so I had a BlackBerry at the time, just trying to look to see whatever I could possibly get off that little terrible internet. And all of a sudden you see, and people had the radio on, and someone had said like, "Oh, Steve Finley just hit a grand slam." I was like, "Oh my god!" Freaking out. The whole area went crazy. It was in the middle of the game. It was fantastic. 4+1 with Nomar entering it. Thank you, Hingo. That was a great game too. So a lot of great moments there, but there's been a ton. Alex Cora's 18 pitch at bat, that was a good one too. I think he had a home run right after that. God, David Freese just got close with that 14 pitch at bat. I was standing in my room in the barracks ironing my uniforms for Gibson's home run. Yeah, that's good for you. Hey, thank you for your service. Tom Theobald, Gossage versus Ron Say. I wasn't alive yet. Or if but that was probably a great one for. Yeah, hey, shout them out. Say what your favorite Dodgers moment is, please. Absolutely put them on there. I'll read them all out for you. I don't care when it was. It was back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, all of it. I'm happy to shout that out for you. But I do only have 5 minutes. Make a prediction, Greg. When do you think the Dodgers will clinch? Why you got to do that to me? Here's the thing. I really believe that they could sweep this series. I think Colorado's playing badly at the time, and I think that the Dodgers are playing really well right now. I think that everything is in the Dodgers' favor. They can't clinch just yet, but I think they could be clinched by next week. I think they could still win this game. Originally I said 6 games. I still think that's a possibility. I think that's too many. I think that they're gonna win this division by a game or 2, but I think that they're about to go they're about to go on a big run. Winning against the Cubs in 2017 was great. The Kershaw, thank you, Hanley, perfect game. A lot of those games are great. Will St. Louis Cards make the playoffs? They're starting. I don't think so. They're starting to fall apart. Well, you know what? They still could get that wild card. So we'll see. I think they beat the Braves tonight. So that's a big one for you. Brian Affield, I should have taken your $50 bet. You're absolutely right. Dodgers 50 year in LA and more in New York City. All right, I hate that moment because I left early. Let's see, David Ojeda. Which one? I'm not sure which one. And then bottom. Oh, you left in the 4 home run games? No, this is why you never leave at the end of the game, David. You never leave until the game's over. Jose Lima, game 3, going all 9. Oh man. Jose Lima, that dude had so much passion behind him. Big fan of Jose Lima. I'm loving reading all these. Please give me all of your favorite recent any Dodger memories. Mike Scioscia home run off Gooden in the 1988 playoffs, another huge one. For most part, people only remember the Kirk Gibson home run, but the Mike Scioscia had a big series. One was JT Game 2 NLCS. Yep, that was a huge one too. Wade to Kershaw, best game ever. Chandler, Arizona, awesome. Yep. Let's see. I saw Gibby's knock at a mini mart because I was on a date. Told her I needed to get gas when I had a full tank. See, that's a true fan right there. Putting your girlfriend to sit in a car, pretending to get gas so you can go into a gas station to see Gibby's home run. That's awesome. That's awesome. Puig breakout year was really a good one. Let's see. Finley home run got me sent home from work as a dishwasher by my Giants fan boss. Was listening on radio. Well, he got the day off. He obviously didn't fire you, but he got the day off. Good for you. Favorite recent Dodgers memory? Jumping in the Diamondbacks pool after clinching. Oh, man. They had a great time with that. Puig especially had a great time with that. But I'll tell you what. Arizona never forgets. They still don't win, but they never forget. Is it better to be on the road or at home in the postseason? I mean, Isaiah, it's always better to be at home. You want to have that home field advantage as much as possible because when you go to other parks, like look what happened. You had the home field advantage in the World Series, but you had to go to that terrible ballpark in Houston. You just got beat up, home run galore there. So I think it's always you would rather be at home than on the road. It's definitely. Kershaw's no was great. Jumping D-bags pool was the best. That was a good one. Nomo no-hitter in Coors. Still, to this day, the only one. Piazza eliminating the Giants on the last day of the season. Anytime the Giants get eliminated on the last day of the season, that is a great memory. Kershaw's opening day gem versus the Giants. Oh, that was the great. He hit they win 1-0 and he hits the only home run of the game. Yeah, we were a little bit worried about that still too because we were like, why? You can't get any offense from anybody but Clayton Kershaw. Chan-Ho Park drop kick. Let's see. D-backs are done. Not make the playoffs. I agree. Dodgers beating the Giants to eliminate them in game 162 of the season. Anytime, always. Shout out to Greg. Keep it up. Love it when you go live and answering. Always happy to answer all your questions, Adrian. You think a non-consistent lineup will hurt the routine of some players for playoffs? It hasn't. I don't believe in that. I think that I would love to see a consistent lineup just like anybody else, but this is not that type of thing. So, look, I only have a couple minutes left, but yeah, I just don't think that this front office uses that type of. They use analytics. They don't care what you think. Just how it is. I know I never leave, but homie thought Hoffman was going to pitch, and he was my ride. Heard the rest of the game on the radio. Well, at least you heard the game on the radio. But how do you miss that? Oh, they were in the bottom of the 9th, 4 straight. Then Nomar in the 10th. Oh, just a beautiful thing. Turner's walk-off home run against the Cubs in NLCS. Any NLCS World Series walk-off home run automatically jumps right near the top. Let's see. Ricky Kusanagi moment. I want to forget Chan-Ho Park giving up 2 games. Oh, hey. Nobody needs to talk about Fernando. What was it? We don't need to talk about those Chan-Ho Park games, all right? No, thank you. Why you gotta put me on a down note when I'm about to leave in just a couple minutes? That was mean. Jerk. Just kidding. Let's see. All 4. Well, here's the thing, Tom Thibault. There was 5, and it went Piazza, Karros. Let's see. It went Piazza, Karros, Mondesi, Hollinsworth. There was a 5th. Piazza, Karros, Mondesi, Hollinsworth. God. It wasn't Nomo. I'm blanking on the 5th. Someone's going to help me out here. I know there was a 5th. It was, it was Nomo. Okay, it was Nomo. They're saying, yeah, Nomo, 5. Ha! You think I don't know what I'm talking about, Tom? I was at the 4 home run. Good for you. All right, 2 minutes left. I'm just going to name it Nomo, Hideo, Nomo. It was Nomo. I should have just gone with my original thought. I thought I had it right. When Manny hit that bomb in Wrigley, I think it was 2008. Yeah, God, Manny, even though he was on roids, He did what he was supposed to do. I don't know what to say. Yes, it was Noah. See? So you said 4. I don't know if that was supposed to be a trick question, Tom, but it was actually 5. I got you. I got you. Just remember that. All right, I got a minute and a half. I'm going to try and answer 2 quick questions, all right? 2 quick questions. I love to see this lineup hitting. I like they did it today, the World Series in Houston. We'd have pop for it, yeah. Even when Chipper Jones should have won. Sean Green was a great player. Let's see. Favorite moment? I am not talking to you about that. James Loney, game for his Cubs. Oh, it was so... I loved seeing James Loney do that. You listen to Say Hi to Mason and Ireland. Love both of them. The Russell G. Listen at work. Hey, I will do my best on that. They love hearing from you guys, and they will always will. Let's see. YouTube real fast. You got anything for me? William L. Wine Jr. Ron Say, game 162, home run to tie the Astros for first and send it to a game 163. Don't discuss the outcome of game 3. 163. You wrote it, but it's true. Ouch. James Loney, let's see, we got that. Best Dodger moment was meeting Lasorda last at Dodger Stadium in the hallway. Good for you. Seeing Tommy is always great. All right, that's enough for me. I only got 30 seconds left, so I'm just going to say to you, remember, follow me on Twitter, @BergmanGreg, @BergmanGreg. I'm going to be on with you guys as much as possible from now on. It's probably going to be almost every single night, and I have huge news for Wednesday. Hopefully Wednesday. Fingers crossed. But... @BergmanGreg. Follow me on Twitter. I'm happy to talk to everybody. I love doing it. It's @BergmanGreg on Instagram as well. That's it for me. Dodgers in first place yet again. Have a great night, guys. See ya.